already have a question from Nini. Nini,
Hi.
would you like to
Yes, thank you.
unmute yourself?
So,
Hi.
yeah, can you hear me? Okay. So this is actually a question. Thank you, everyone, again, and thank you for the simultaneous English translation. You guys make it so accessible to see and hear writers. So thank you, thank you, thank you once again. I'm a broken record. I say it every time, but thank you. So this question is actually for Jethro Soutar about page 15. The translation, it's about the question is about translation actually, because I'm fascinated because it's a great translation. It feels like it was written in English. So I mean, so kudos, because if it feels like it's written in English, then obviously, you've done a great job. The question I have is that how is this written in Portuguese, or is this in parentheses? Is this something that you added where on page 15, it's on the first paragraph, it says that in Portuguese, there is a distinction between the word negro, which describes a black person, and preto, which describes a black thing, blah, blah, blah. And then for this reason, negro is not taken to be an offensive term in Portuguese, whereas preto continues to be used as a racist slur. So I'm just curious, is that your addition, or is that in the...
That's yeah, I mean, if anyone here who speaks English and Portuguese and compares the two books will find it's really not a parallel translation at all. So you can, I mean, that's a very good example of one of the things we did, everything I did, I sort of consulted Joaquim with especially sensitive language words to do with race. So, you cannot assume that an English reader is going to know these things, and yet it's fundamental that you do. So I think this is quite near the beginning. Let's get it out there straight away and try and explain a bit of something we're dealing with. This is the original book, and you can see it's that thick, and this is the other one. So there were lots of changes we made. Certain chapters that Joaquim decided were no longer or didn't fit with the narrative anymore. Certain bits that I decided were maybe too long for an Anglo reader, because maybe we knew some of these details that he was feeding to a Portuguese reader, and vice versa. So it's a very loose translation. In many ways, it involved a lot of editing as well as simply word for word translation.
So my follow-up question to that is that why didn't you use that as a footnote so that we know that those are your words or additions? Like what motivated that decision to include it in the text rather than a glossary or footnote?
Just because there was going to be a lot of it, there would have been a lot of footnotes, and then it starts to look like an academic text, whereas it's supposed to flow. Joaquim's just said it's journeys, he's walking, the thoughts are coming along. So I didn't really want to interrupt that sort of flow of ideas. And that was it really. The Joaquim understood pretty quickly what I was suggesting, and that yeah, of course, whether it be the intricacies of racial terminology or the history of the Portuguese Civil War, inevitably the knowledge of the readers, the things you can assume they already know, is going to be different. And I think as a translator, you do, like, by the time you've done about the fifth or sixth draft, it's a bit like method acting. I almost become Joaquim. And so I can almost write a sentence in the way that he would have written it if he was writing this directly for an English readership. So it was that was the thinking really. But yeah, we could have done that. For people who are interested in comparing the two books and what I changed and why, then of course footnotes would help. But most readers, presumably, that's more of an academic interest. Most readers just prefer to go with the flow.
Thank you. Thanks a lot.